My mother-in-law slid a note to me during dinner, scribbled with the words, "He's still in love with his ex, you're just the vessel." When I passed it to my husband, he smirked and murmured, "She's got a point." His entire family raised their glasses, toasting to superior genes, while I sat frozen, unable to react. That night, I silently packed my things, but I left a surprise in the oven that detonated shortly after they woke. I met Ethan in Denver. I just escaped a painful divorce, and he had this quiet, all-American charm that drew me in. Clean-shaven, courteous, the type who holds doors open and helps at animal shelters. His calm demeanor was exactly what I needed. He said all the perfect things, claimed I was his forever. I should have seen through it. We rushed into marriage, perhaps too quickly. I was pregnant within 3 months. It felt like a gift at the time. I was 35, he was 37. We both said we wanted kids, or so I believed. His family was civil to my face but kept their distance. Especially his mother, Judith, a Denver high society type. Flawless hair, forced smile, never a kind word. The kind of woman who called her grown son my perfect boy, even though he was nearing 40. She never hid her preference for Ethan's ex, Lauren, a surgeon with a Yale degree and impeccable lineage. Lauren, who supposedly left Ethan because she wasn't ready to commit, and who Judith still met for coffee monthly. At first, I brushed off the subtle digs. I told myself I was overreacting. When Judith remarked brains aren't everything, staring at my pregnant belly, I bit my tongue. Then came the dinner. It was at their sprawling home in Wash Park. The whole clan was there, Ethan's sister, her husband, a few cousins. I was 7 months along, bloated and drained. They served ceviche, which I couldn't touch due to my pregnancy. No one offered anything else. I was nursing my water when Judith slipped me a folded note under the table. Her expression didn't waver. I unfolded it carefully. One line, written in elegant script. "He's still in love with his ex, you're just the vessel." I couldn't move. I looked at Ethan, sitting next to me, joking with his sister. I handed him the note. He read it, gave a low laugh, and whispered, "She's got a point," like it was a family jest. Then came the toast. His cousin Ryan stood, glass raised. "To the next generation," he said. "Here's to hoping this kid inherits better genes." Laughter filled the room. Glasses clinked. Even Ethan joined in. I felt invisible, like I was just a tool, a means to an end. My hands trembled, but I forced a smile. I didn't let them see me break. That night while they slept, I packed my bags quietly. But I left something in the oven, not a meal. A small glass container of water, sealed tightly in a Pyrex dish, tucked under foil with the oven cranked to 500 degrees. I'd read about what happens when certain containers trap moisture under extreme heat. They can burst. Not an explosion exactly, but enough force to shatter the oven door and startle anyone nearby. I left at 2:14 a.m. Drove to my sister's place in Parker, turned off my phone. Around 4:42 a.m. her landline rang. My phone was off. It was Ethan, frantic. The oven had blown. No one was injured, just shards of glass, a ruined oven door, and a blaring smoke alarm. Judith was rattled. Good. I played innocent. "Oh no, I must have left something in there," I said when I called back later that day. I was so upset. They didn't call me out directly, but they suspected. I could tell, and I didn't care. It was the first move. After the oven incident, things went silent. Too silent. Ethan didn't reach out for 2 days. Then he texted, "You need help." No apology, no remorse, just that, as if I were the unhinged one. I stayed with my sister, Emily, for weeks. She was livid when she heard the story. She's a nurse, tough as nails, and said I should have thrown the note at Judith's face and stormed out. But I didn't. I sat through that dinner like a shadow. That ate at me more than anything. I kept asking myself how I missed it. The clues were there. The way Ethan dodged conversations about baby names. How he avoided touching my belly. How he still followed Lauren on social media, liking her posts about her dog or her medical conferences. He even sent her a gift when her mother passed, without telling me. When I mentioned it, he said I was just being kind. Don't be paranoid, paranoid. I was carrying his child, and that was apparently my only purpose. Weeks later, a friend told me Lauren had been invited to a family brunch at Judith's. While I was still pregnant, I snapped. I went to their house. I know how it sounds, but I wasn't yelling. I wasn't breaking things. I rang the bell, calm, composed, prepared. Judith answered, looking like she expected a delivery. "Lauren's not here," she said before I could speak. "I don't care," I replied. "I just want to know why you despise me." "What have I done?" She folded her arms. "You got pregnant too soon. You ensnared him. I didn't ensnare him. We planned this." She gave a thin smile. "Ethan told us otherwise. Something broke inside me." I stepped back. "Right. Well, tell Ethan his trap wants nothing from him." Then I pulled an envelope from my purse and handed it to her. Inside were the first ultrasound images and a legal notice from my attorney about sole custody. Judith's face drained of color. "I'll raise this baby alone. And if he wants to fight, tell him we'll expose everything in court, including the note asterisk." Then I walked away. That was the second move. The oven was the first. The second was making it clear I wouldn't stay silent. And Ethan. He responded with a lawyer. A week later, I received a letter. He was suing for joint custody, not sole, joint. As if he could play devoted dad after laughing at my humiliation and letting his family degrade me. His lawyer was ruthless, tried to paint me as unstable, claimed the oven incident was deliberate, that I was emotionally erratic. They even dug up old texts from years ago when I'd mentioned my stress. That's when I started compiling everything. I made a binder, a proper one, with dividers, dates, screenshots, notes, audio clips. The note Judith gave me, I had it framed. I made a copy and stored the original in a safe deposit box. And just when I thought it couldn't get worse, Emily overheard something at the hospital. Lauren was pregnant with Ethan's child. I didn't believe it at first. But Emily swore. She heard Lauren talking in the maternity ward with a colleague, said she was 8 weeks along. Ethan and I had only been separated for 2 months. He was cheating while I was pregnant with his child. I saw red. I didn't tell anyone at first, not even Emily. I just sat on the floor of her guest room, staring at the wall, 8 weeks pregnant. That meant he was with Lauren while I was still carrying his child, while he was living with me. While he was telling me I was too sensitive, imagining things. He wasn't just unfaithful. He was building 2 lives, 2 families. Then it hit me, this wasn't an accident. This was calculated. The note from Judith, "You're just the vessel." She knew, they all did, the toast to better genes. They weren't talking about my baby. They were already thinking about Lauren's. I had to confirm, so I did something I never imagined. I contacted Lauren. I found her work email. She was still listed on the hospital's staff directory. I kept it brief. "I think we've both been deceived. I'm not here to fight, just to talk, woman to woman. You can ignore this, but if you want the truth, I'll share everything asterisk." I didn't expect a response. But the next morning she replied, "Meet me at the Walnut Room on 10th tomorrow, 10 a.m. I arrived early. Sat in the back, heart racing. When she walked in, she looked anxious, not smug, not cold, just worn out. Her eyes were red like she hadn't slept. She didn't sit before asking, "You're pregnant too?" I nodded. She sank into the chair. "He told me you faked the pregnancy to trap him, that he was leaving you before it happened." I almost laughed. "He told me you left him years ago and he never moved on." Lauren looked ill. I should have known. The timelines didn't add up. He was still married to you when we got back in touch. "You're 8 weeks. She nodded. "You, due in 4, her jaw dropped. She hadn't known. I reached into my bag and slid a copy of Judith's note across the table. She read it slowly, then said, "Judith told me I'd always be her true daughter-in-law." That's when the tears came, from both of us. Turns out she hadn't planned her pregnancy. She was going to tell him last week. But then she found a voicemail on his phone from a storage facility. She got curious, checked it out. Apparently, Ethan had rented a unit under a false name. She hadn't visited yet, was afraid. I wasn't. We drove there that afternoon in her car. The front desk clerk barely looked up when Lauren gave the fake name. Said the unit was paid for 6 months. She handed us the key without a second thought. Inside was small, dusty, 1 bare bulb, a few file boxes, but what we found inside those boxes made my stomach churn. Photos, dozens. Of Lauren, of me, some printed, some from his phone, notes scrawled in the margins. Lauren's height, my blood type, her GPA, my weight gain. One folder was labeled projections. Inside were hand-drawn family trees split in 2. Lauren's name, mine, our baby names listed, genetic traits. Optimal outcome, Lauren's child raised by both. Alternate 50-50 custody for diversity. I felt a chill. "This isn't love," Lauren whispered. "This is a project." We left everything there, called my lawyer. Lauren called hers. She moved out that night and told Ethan not to contact her again. That was the 3rd move. I filed a motion for sole custody, citing emotional and psychological manipulation with evidence. And I leaked 1 photo, just 1. The family tree chart, no names, just enough for the forum it hit to explode. People started speculating. It didn't take long for Judith's name to surface. She tried to call me. I didn't pick up. Ethan tried too. I blocked him. But Emily's friend in family court shared something new the next week. Ethan was under psychological evaluation. His own lawyer suggested it after seeing the files Lauren and I submitted. The photos, the obsession with genetics, the calculated notes. Lauren's pregnancy went public a few weeks later. Not by her, but by Judith, who tried to call it a blessed miracle. It backfired. Because Lauren spoke out. Went online and said clearly I was manipulated. I am not part of that family, nor is my child. And just like that, Ethan's golden image shattered. The story blew up after Lauren's post. She didn't hold back. She detailed everything. How Ethan deceived her, how he twisted timelines, how he was orchestrating two families without either woman knowing the full truth. She didn't name me, but she didn't need to. People connected the dots. A Denver moms group started a thread. Is this about the Wash Park couple with the jeans toast story? It went viral. Judith's note. I had scanned it. Someone posted it in the thread. It was real. Her handwriting, her venom. Public support flooded in for Lauren and me, not for Ethan, not for Judith. But this isn't a film, it's slower. The collapse doesn't happen overnight. It starts with cracks. Ethan's job put him on leave after the story spread. He worked in urban development, all smiles and community trust. That image didn't survive the online forums. Local news covered it. He wasn't named outright, but locals knew. Clients backed out. His firm quietly asked him to step down. Judith tried to go quiet, claimed she was devastated by the misunderstanding. But she didn't expect a friend from her social circle to leak a voicemail she sent to Lauren's cousin. In it, she said, "My son is suffering because he chose superior genes. That woman, me, was just a carrier." She called me that woman. Not by name, like I was nothing, just a function. That voicemail leaked. And that was the end of her social status. Her book club dropped her. She was uninvited from galas. Even the country club, her second home, stopped sending her invites. She filed a defamation suit against Lauren. The judge threw it out in 5 minutes. "You shamed yourself," he said in court. As for Ethan, he fought for custody. His lawyer tried everything. But the judge saw the files, the notes, the projections, the messages he sent Lauren begging her to stay quiet. And then there was the final piece, a video. One I'd forgotten about. It was from a doorbell camera. Emily had one on her porch. It recorded everything the night I arrived, sobbing, 7 months pregnant. My hair was a mess. My hands shook. The timestamp showed it was the night of the dinner. In the video, I can be heard saying he laughed at me, Emily. He said his mom was right. He said I'm just the vessel asterisk. The judge watched it all. He granted Ethan's supervised visitation only, pending a full psychological evaluation. I got sole custody, not temporary. Sole. Ethan didn't even look at me in court, just sat there, pale, empty. The golden boy was gone. After the hearing, Lauren and I spoke. She decided to move to Boulder to be near her family. She didn't want Ethan near her child. And after everything, she didn't trust his love ever again. We're not friends. Not exactly, but we respect each other now. She sent me a holiday card. We both had boys. Our sons will grow up knowing they have a half-sibling. Maybe they'll meet someday, maybe not. That's not my decision. Ethan ended up in therapy, court-mandated. I heard he moved back in with Judith after losing his place. The perfect family? Shattered. And Judith, she sent me one letter, handwritten, no apology. It read, "You destroyed everything. You humiliated our family asterisk." I mailed it back unopened. I wrote one line across the front in Sharpie. "No, Judith, you did that yourself, and I meant it. Some people never improve, some people never change, but me, I did. I'm raising my son alone. He's healthy. He's mine, and he'll never grow up thinking women are vessels, or that love is something you engineer." As for the explosion that night, well, kitchens can be unpredictable, but every now and then when I see a Pyrex dish, I smile just a little. Some people want silent revenge. Me, I left them in broken glass and chaos, and they finished the job themselves.